All right, so let's talk about AI. But you know what? We're going to skip the usual stuff about robots taking our jobs. Instead, we're going to get way more personal. We're going to dive into the skills and, yeah, the struggles that actually make us human and what we might be losing when we just ask a machine for the perfect answer. And this quote from Simon Sinek, this is pretty much the heart of our entire conversation today. I mean, we're always taught to aim for perfection, right? Hide your flaws. But what Sinek is saying is that our mistakes, our messiness, that's not a bug. It's a feature. It's literally what makes us us. So that brings up a huge question. When AI can give you a flawless answer for almost anything, what happens when we start using it for the messy, complicated, human parts of our lives? Let's walk through a little scenario that might hit kind of close to home.
Okay, we're gonna start with a situation I think a lot of us have been in. You have a fight with someone you love, and you're just desperate to find the exact right words to fix it.
So, imagine this. You've had a fight. You turn to ChatGPT and ask for the perfect apology. And boom, it gives you this masterpiece of emotional intelligence. You deliver it word for word. But then what happens? Your partner just looks at you because all that perfection, it feels fake, artificial. And they ask, "Did you get this from ChatGPT?" In that one moment, those perfect words become completely meaningless. And why? Because you outsourced the struggle. You skipped the most important part, the messy, hard, human effort of figuring it out yourself. And this idea, it goes way beyond just a single apology. The real issue here is our whole approach to life, to growth, and to what we even think is valuable. Simon Sinek has this great term for it. He calls our culture a result-obsessed society. We are just laser-focused on the final product, the destination. And AI, well, AI is the ultimate tool for a culture like that. It can write the book, it can solve the problem instantly. It gives you the result without any of the process. And this is where you see the huge clash. For AI, it's all about the destination, that perfect output. But for us humans, the real value, the good stuff, is in the journey. It's not about having a finished book. It's about who you become while you're writing it. It's not about just solving the problem. It's about the skills you pick up along the way. The futurist Mo Gaudat has this brilliant way of putting it. He says real video gamers don't actually want to just beat the level. Their real goal is to get better at playing the game. The level is just the training ground. And that is such a perfect way to think about it. The goal isn't the finish line. It's the growth you get on your way there. So, here's the bottom line. That difficult, sometimes excruciatingly frustrating process, that's not some obstacle you need technology to help you bypass. That is the entire point. The struggle is the engine that drives our growth. Okay, so if the struggle is where all the growth happens, what about the results of that struggle? They're often a little flawed, a little messy, and that is exactly why we love them. There's this amazing Japanese concept called wabi-sabi. It's all about finding deep, profound beauty in things that are imperfect. It celebrates the cracks, the unevenness, the signs that something has been lived with and used. It's a whole philosophy that values the unique signature of a human hand, not machine-made perfection. Just think about it for a second. We love handmade pottery because it's a little wonky. We value a famous painting for the story of the artist's struggle. The most exciting moments in sports, they usually come from human error, not perfect plays. We're drawn to things that have been touched by human hands, because that imperfection is the signature of humanity itself. And Sinek brings this right back around to our relationships. We don't really connect with perfection. We connect with people who see our flaws and love us anyway. Real connection is built on accepting imperfection, in ourselves and in other people. So if we accept that the struggle is good for us and that imperfection is beautiful, what's actually at stake here? What are the practical, real-world human skills that we are at risk of losing when we let AI do all the heavy lifting? Sinek has this incredibly powerful analogy. Imagine AI gives everyone a boat. Sounds fantastic, right? Getting around is suddenly effortless. But what happens when a storm hits and you fall out? If you never bothered to learn how to swim because you always had the boat, well, you're in big trouble. The boat is the easy AI-generated answer. Swimming is the core human skill you only get through struggle. I mean, really think about it. How do we learn to be a good friend? It's not from a manual, and it's definitely not by asking an AI for the right thing to say. We learn by showing up, by getting it wrong sometimes, by listening, and by practicing empathy over and over and over.
And how do we learn to resolve conflict? Well, it's through having those awkward, difficult conversations, stumbling over our words, and navigating hurt feelings. Every messy argument, if you can handle it with some care, is a chance to get better at relationships.
And how do we build resilience? How do we learn to cope with stress? By actually going through stressful situations. When we outsource these struggles, we're not just getting an easy answer. We are robbing ourselves of the chance to build the emotional muscle we desperately need to handle life's storms. So, all of this, it leads us to a pretty fundamental choice about the kind of future we really want to build, not just for ourselves, but for everyone. Mo Gaudat predicts that society is heading for something he calls a big split. As technology gets more and more woven into our lives, he thinks humanity is going to be faced with two very, very different paths forward. On one side, you've got the technology path. That's doubling down on AI, on optimization, on productivity. But on the other side, you've got the community path. This is a conscious choice to reinvest in human connection, in community, in the skills that actually bind us together. One utopia is built on efficiency. The other is built on connection. And look, this isn't some huge sci-fi decision that's way off in the future. It's a choice we are all making every single day. Do you ask ChatGPT for that apology? Or do you do the hard, messy work yourself? Do you automate a text to a friend, or do you take a minute to write it from the heart? So that's really the final question for all of us. AI promises a world of easy efficiency, but being human, truly growing and connecting and loving, that takes effort. It takes struggle. It requires imperfection. The question is, where are you going to invest? Thanks for watching.